Okay, I'll start with a couple of poems. This poem is called Household Interior. The copy paper is located under the floorboards next to the thrashing dolphins in the foaming pool. One person is always there, the guardian of the keys, wearing a lock of wispy hair and a glass box around his neck. He feeds the dolphins bluefin tuna as well as fragments of his own verse. He gives the copy machine what it wants, paper. He gives his children what they want, absence from the world. Everyone is happy. And this poem is called The Meeting. The lake, overflowing in heat, rushes downward. The cheek, the leg, sweet mouth of the river, soft hills, a coral-lipped horizon, a kiss of tears, the heart of soft, perfumed night. Touch me with your cloud fingers, moon smile. Grace me with a tongue of stars, a shudder of earth. Grasp me, let the spring burst from our hair, our shared mixing of fields and rain, the bed of joy without regret. And now some letters to my friend Daniel. Dear Dan, I'm pleased to learn that you're considering a visit to my domicile shortly. You must be forewarned, however, that danger lurks behind every tree and every bedpost and fire hydrant along the way. Giant sloths crawling through the underbrush with long, sharp claws and green algae growing on their fur could creep up behind you and open their mouths and let out the sound of shattering chandeliers, causing the streets to overflow with blood. You may try growing wings and flying upwards into the sky, seeking union with the wind, but you may fall as a meteor into a vast inland sea forming over the San Joaquin Valley and arise as a giant piece of driftwood covered with barnacles, small lizards, and ruby earrings and perfectly polished shells. On the other hand, my fingers may grow long and be covered with bark, leaves, blossoms, and birds' nests, and my eyes may become those of a gecko, a tarsier, or an owl. Emeralds, mice, and mosquitoes, and miniature laughing purple men with clawed toes and jester's caps could pour from my lips like manna. I could start spinning until I become a whirlwind, destroying offices, car lots, and housing tracts, reducing the populated areas from San Jose to Anaheim into piles of rubble. In either case, new cities shall arise that float in the air like marble honeycombs with Moorish towers, which will contain millions of fluttering bats. Songs will spontaneously arise from tide pools and dark caves. Oui, es verdad, no? Ja, ist gut. You trust me. Su frère de la luna y les chats, Erich. Okay, here's another letter to Daniel. Dear Daniel, I'm sorry that the pain of kidney stones is vexing you currently, but give thanks that you're getting treatment and that things could be worse. Your primary care physician can give you ayahuasca while wearing a Venetian carnival mask, then place a glistening, croaking, sickly green cane toad on your forehead, and that should do the trick. Your bed will rise into the air, and the bed sheets will wrap you into a quaint sort of origami papoose, and lower you onto the floor, and a skeleton in a black monk's robe from the time of the suppression of the Albigensian heresies will appear, carrying a lantern with a wick of burning oil, and insert a nice fresh pill made of talc, Prozac, interferon, aspirin, and angel dust between your lips that will knock you out and prepare you for the Filipino faith healer with his surgical instruments, namely his trusty sharpened fingernails. If that doesn't work, you can sue the hospital for malpractice and collect a settlement in the form of a living, breathing, severed goat's head made of brass with eyes of lapis lazuli, who can grant your every wish in exchange for your eternal soul. Then, with the settlement paid to you in the form of buried treasure, you can build an enormous palace made of shimmering marble, the color of glinting seashells, that floats on the clouds, and you can grow bat wings as wide as the span of a hang glider, fly through the uncanny eye-like windows of the palace into rooms covered in carpets made of bison skins, with rug-thick, shaggy coats that create the sound of anguished prisoners languishing in stone towers when walked upon or stroked. The aquariums dividing the irregularly shaped rooms all have freshwater dolphins from the Amazon River, splashing and cavorting among piranhas and underwater grasses, dancing in slow motion in emerald waves. Suddenly, millions of glowing insect larvae will appear on the undulating walls of the rooms that will fall to the floor, merging into flows of molten orange magma, changing every combustible object into a puff of ephemeral smoke. Then you will flap your way across the night sky with howls of triumphant duende, and you will recover enough to return to Earth to enjoy a glass of vintage cognac with your Rice Krispies, awaiting a storm front that will bring you salvation and healing magical rain. You will then have the speediest recovery imaginable. Take care. Your friend and amiable blind cavefish, Eric.